Hey, good afternoon. This is Ken Spencer. I'm the president and CEO for HR Service. We're a strategic partner with Black Golden Associates and want to thank them for setting this up and allowing us the opportunity to speak with you today. The objectives of our meeting today, we want to help you to understand some new services that are available and some options that are available at no cost to you with the goal of helping you to attract and win new business. And so we're going to dive right into that today. Feel free to ask any questions as we go throughout. You can type over your questions, or I'll provide you with some contact information at the end. Well, there's a number of challenges and problems that employers are facing right now, and I think you can relate to this. And many of you have been out right now doing your open enrollments. One of the challenges is they're always worried about whether they're going to get fined. Are they going to get audited? Are there going to be fines that's coming down to them? They don't know the legal requirements. There's these constant legal changes, and it's a challenge for them to keep up on those changes. And they're not really clear where they stand. A lot of them are kind of winging it from a compliance standpoint, and more they seem to be wanting things to be made easy. And they look to you, the broker, often to help them with these kinds of solutions and more. Often they're coming to you with questions about human resources or employment law or things that's kind of often beyond what you normally do as an insurance broker. They're also worried about, so I mentioned these audits. The increased auditors have been hired for the Department of Labor and the IRS and Health and Human Services. The things they're auditing, they look for summary plan descriptions, various employee notices, triggering event notices, 5500 reporting. There's this whole list of employee notifications that are required. Most of you are familiar with the initial COBRA and qualifying event COBRA. But what about the CHIP, mental health and parity, newborns, women's health and cancer, the HIPAA notice, Medicare Part D, a number of these that employers are missing out on, and they're at risk if they're fines, or they're at risk if they don't provide that notice and someone needed that benefit. And there's the risk there as well. I mentioned it's a challenge keeping up on everything. ERISA, Family Medical Leave, Fair Labor Standards Act, all these different changes that just seem to be constantly changing all the time. A number of clients' employers are not current on HIPAA requirements. They're not getting out the HIPAA notices. They're not handling their protected health information, PHI, effectively. And so there's a risk of violations there as well. And of course, many of them are out of compliance with their documents. I mentioned previously the summary plan description documents. They don't have those in place. They don't have the summary plan description wrap that could cover all of their benefits with one document. But also things like 125 premium only plan documents. A lot of them are out of date. They've received some free one from AFLAC or someone, and it's older than 2014, and there were changes around then that need to be in place. So a lot of these things are going on that your clients are faced with. So one of the solutions that we have available that can take care of giving your clients the peace of mind, easily managing these compliance concerns and keeping them compliant is a service that's available to you as part of working through Black Golden Associates called Compliance Basics Plus. I'm going to give you a brief overview of what this entails and how it would help you, but it's a tool that you might use to even attract and retain new business. And then I'll also show you this free compliance assessment tool and approach that's available at no cost to you towards the end, where you can use that as another tool to help you find new business. This tool, one of the first things that it does and has available is it allows you or your client to go in and complete a compliance assessment so they know where they are right now. I'll actually show you a little more detail on this assessment tool in a moment, but the essence of it is it asks critical questions where they're able to say yes, no, or uncertain to each of the sections in the area. And then it provides them a report that gives them a risk assessment score and then tells them what items they're missing. And it gives them this ability then to track this information until it's complete. And so it becomes a dashboard for them as well. And we have a variation of this very tool that you can use to complete free compliance assessments for prospects. And that's what I'll show you as well towards the end of our discussion. This service includes emailed services and web-based services. The emailed solutions The first thing we try to do is make sure that they receive compliance notifications. So once a year, they receive a compliance calendar that tells them what they need throughout the year. And these are the things we usually know about. So any changes that's going on, here's an example of one for 2017. The compliance issue, the date, and the action that's required. And then month by month, we send a legal update or a legal alert, just one a month, that tells them here's the actions and reminders you have this month, and then here are the federal changes and state by state changes. And we include your logo on that when it goes out when you have 10 or more clients that are set up with the service. And so you get the branding, the recognition from you that you're helping them with the service. We also send out once a month a bulletin that covers some HR topic like wellness or ACA or hiring techniques or whatever. Here's an example of one on passing an ERISA audit. In this instance here, again, you'll have your logo that would be included as well. Now, the most critical part of this service are the web-based solutions. And I'll actually log into the system in just a moment. But just as a highlight for you, the web-based solutions includes an employee notice service that takes care of all of the employee notices, all in one. So you answer some questions, the system pulls in which notice applies, populates it, and emails it in a ready-to-deliver format. There's an SPD wrap service where the client can create one summary plan description, a wrap document that wraps around all of their benefit plans, medical, dental, life, disability. And then the information is saved and stored there where they can go in and make changes and updates anytime they have changes. We recommend them running it once a year so they have a new current wrap document for all new hires, or new participants on the plan, I should say. Then there's a summary material modification tool where they can go in and run a summary material modification anytime there's a change in a benefit, and it saves and stores that data. So again, we're trying to be audit ready, trying to have everything in place. We're trying to make it simple. There's a 125 POP document, a current document that's in there where they can update that information. There's a HIPAA toolkit, and I'll show you that in a moment, that allows them to create their full HIPAA program, has all the templates and guidance that they need. There's a legal library, so they can keep current on all the employment law changes. And there's an HR solutions section, and I'll walk through the details of that section, but it gives them every kind of form, document, template. There's training, leader training. There's everything they need to run their human resource department. This is a list of the various employee notices I mentioned with that employee notice generator, where it creates one overall notice, pulling in only the notices that apply to them, populating it, and then emailing it in a ready-to-deliver format. And you can control this if you want. So it could either be your employers that are taking care of it themselves, or they could have it sent, or you could log in and do the work for them, or it may be a combination of both of you. With that, let me, there also just one other thing, and I'll log into the system. We also have an electronic document storage and delivery tool that's available as part of this. So you or actually in this case here, it would have to be you that's storing the documents, the SPD wraps, the notices, summary material modifications, SPDs, any information you want participants to receive. This system allows you to store the data, notify participants, and then have them go in and validate that they've received the information. With that, let's actually log into the system now, and I'll show you what this tool looks like. So if I go to compliancelogin.com, this is assuming that a client is already set up on the service, and I'm logging in as a client. I'll show you the client view first, and then I'll show you the broker view after that. So if I log in at compliancelogin.com, and this is, I would already have my username and password. So if I logged into the system, as a client, I would immediately see my broker's logo. So this would be you. So they would be logging in as if they're logging into your system. Inside of here, I would come in and I would enter information about my company. The answers to these questions about the company, number of employees, self-funded, fully funded, from a government entity or a corporation, the answers to these questions then populates into the all-in-one notice. It populates automatically into the wrap document, summary material modification, the POP document. So they're not having to retype information that's already populates inside of there. but it also drives now the compliance assessment questions. So only the right questions appear that apply to the client. So if I go into this compliance assessment and I want to know where am I at right now, what compliance items do I need for, and this is for benefit compliance. So it says here, answer the below questions to generate your risk assessment score and identify needed actions to be compliant. So again, based on the information in here, only the right questions appear. So if I go through here, and I won't read each of these sections, but just so you can see the feel, we're looking for the right balance between being comprehensive and complete, but not being so overwhelming and burdensome that no one will do it. And we believe we've captured that. So if you see the sections here, we've got summary plan descriptions, summary material modification, POP documents or FSA, HIPAA, 5500 reporting, medical expense on W-2, ACA, COBRA, employee notices, fidelity bond, medical loss ratio, wellness program, and then how they're handling their documentation and notifying participants. And so you'll see that if I've completed this now, then I go to the report. Now it provides me a risk assessment score, and then it provides me with details, and it says here below's your score. Once you've completed and a list of actions to be compliant. Once I've completed an action, I change my answer in the assessment section to change my score and eliminate the action from my list. So if I go down here, here's my missing compliance items. Each of these sections, here's COBRA, here's my employee notices, fidelity bond. These are actions, things that I haven't completed. If I want, I could also see a potential compliance fines and penalties. So if I were to open up this document, I can see here now the various risks and penalties that I may be facing if I am not fully compliant. So again, that's just in there as a tool so they can see the risk associated with it. Now, if I give you an example here, COBRA. So apparently I'm not providing or using a COBRA administrator. Well, let's use a different one. Employee notices, perform the annual creditable coverage disclosure to CMS. So if I wanted to go back and eliminate that, I could go back to my assessment section. Let's say that I've completed that now. I go down to my employee notices, and here's where it says that this is the only one I haven't finished, and that's the creditable coverage notice. So if I say, yes, that's done now, I save the information. Now when I go back to the report, you'll see that it changes my risk assessment score. It's gone down now, and it has now eliminated that notice that's in there as a requirement. So again, it tracks it, and then that's how I can manage it. And so it's a very simple, easy to use tool. Again, if you have any questions as we go, feel free to type over your question. I'm happy to answer them as we go. As I move across the employee notice section here, this is where I could go into the employee notice generator, and I can generate this all-in-one notice by answering these questions inside of here. By answering these questions in combination with what you put in the company profile, the system then creates this all-in-one notice that addresses all of these questions, addresses all of these notices that we talked about here. It pulls in everything in these parentheses. It also generates separately the health exchange notice that's still applicable, even though we expect that one will go away eventually. It separately inside the system, you'll see when I show you, there's a place that you can generate the summary plan description wrap and the summary material modification. So the only thing we're not doing on this whole notice requirement here is the SBC, Summary of Benefits and Coverage. So going back to the system here now, and again, this saves the information. So I can go in, and we recommend running this all-in-one notice once a year. So they take care of all their notice requirements, one and they're done. Moving across, under the HIPAA toolkit, if I go into the HIPAA determination start here, inside of here, they can come down, understand the aspects of HIPAA that apply to them, follow these steps to create their HIPAA program, and then at the bottom here, they have all of the various forms and documents they need to set up their whole HIPAA compliance. For example, a business associate agreement or a HIPAA policy. Moving on across now, I've got the HR solutions, And under the HR Solutions, I've got all of these sections. I won't go into details on each, but there's a section here where they can access all of our past bulletins, hundreds of articles on human resource management, hundreds of forms and documents and templates to help them with their human resource department. Supervisor training. It's detailed. Now this is written training. We don't do like the training videos, but there's written training and sections on everything that they might run into, like how do I manage performance? How do I fire someone? How do I hire? How do I interview? All of the various human resource management areas. There's a section on compliance. This is where the legal library is. There's resources and tools, and then details under each of these critical sections for Fair Labor Standards Act, OSHA, or Family Medical Leave Act. There's a section on benefit administration for COBRA, ACA, and various tools and resources, even a section for job descriptions. Coming over to a very critical section, which is the summary plan description wrap. If I go into that section, as an employer, I can answer these various questions about the benefits that I have and things that apply to me. I won't go into details on this, but it covers everything. So this system allows them to capture everything that's needed, and then they can generate their summary plan description wrap document and plan document in English or Spanish or both. They can have it sent to themselves or sent to you, their broker, or to both of them as well. So moving over here to the summary material modification section, this is an area here where anytime an employer has a change in a benefit where the value of the benefit's gone up or down, or they're canceling a service, they need to notify participants with a summary of material modification. This is a tool to actually generate those, and then it saves the past modifications inside the system here. So if I had already, let's go back and I'll actually run one for you. If let's say I've had a change in my medical plan, so I check the medical plan box. I can attach something that explains the change that I usually receive from the provider, or I could actually explain the change if I wanted. In this case here, I'll just say that I'm going to attach something. I indicate the date of the change. So let's just say that that is the 1st of December. And then I indicate what kind of a change was it. In this case here, I'll say it's changes that eliminated benefits or services. Now at that point, I'm done, as long as I have first completed the summary plan description wrap document. And I could do another one if I wanted to say I have another material modification. Maybe there's a change in my dental plan or change in one of the other benefits. But if I'm done, I generate the summary material modification notice. It is a system that's processing right now, and now once that's complete, in this case here, this one I actually just download. So I open this up, and there is my summary material modification. You see it's listed the participants and beneficiaries. It's the medical plan that's impacted, change that eliminate benefits on this date. What's the summary of the change? See attached. Or I could have typed in the change, and then it connects them to the summary plan description wrap document and the information about the plan and who to contact therein. So again, it's just a nice, simple way to easily create those pesky summary material modifications that a lot of people aren't doing. And that is audited. That is something they look for when they do their audits. I won't go into details on the 125 POP document, other than just to let you know that that is a service that's available. So if they just went in and clicked and went into the 125 POP document, they could very easily update and generate a POP document from there. Let me do this. I'm going to switch modes for just a moment here now, and I'd like to go in and show you what your view would look like. So if you were logging in as a broker, so once you become a partner with HR Service, you would receive your own username and password, and then if you were logging into the system, you would log in, and now you could access and see all of your clients right inside the system. You could even add clients from here. So I could just very easily go in and add a client if I click this Add Client or Add New Clients button, and then inside of the system, then I could very easily add in information about the client I wanted to add, and then indicate what service I wanted and upload them into the system. Or if you wanted to upload multiple clients, there's a spreadsheet download, and you could upload multiple people at a time, or just doing that working directly with a compliance coach here at HR Service. But going back to the dashboard, so as I mentioned, as a broker, you actually see all of your clients and you have access to them. And you see a dashboard so you can see who's not finished their wrap documents or their POPs or ran their employee notices or other things that you might be doing with us. So I could search for a client by going in knowing that those need their work done. I could look up my client from here, or I could just go to my all clients list. And then all of my clients will be listed there in alphabetical order. Inside of here then, I can search and find each of my clients, and then I could go in and work with and assist them as much as assist them with anything that we'd like to do. I could go in and work on a summary plan description wrap document. So if I go in, like let's say I'm doing this for this A-test company, these action icons is where I could go in and actually add in information about the company. I could go in and work on their wrap document. I'm going to go ahead and click that one. So if I click that SPD wrap icon, that now opens up the SPD wrap system. I apologize, the internet is a little bit slow right now, so my connection is slow, so it's coming up. But when I log into that, now that brings up the client's SPD wrap document, and I can actually then go in and answer questions about the client, about their benefit plans, about their summary plan description wrap document, and everything right inside of the system. So it usually is not that slow in downloading, but now I'm seeing the same information here that the client has, so we could both work in it. A lot of our broker partners will have their clients log in, fill out as much as they can, and then they might come in the back-end access and help them with some of the information themselves, putting in their information. So and other broker partners like to do all of the work themselves. So again, it kind of varies. Everyone is different. And I can do the same. I could go in and do the work for a POP document. I could go in and do it for a summary material modification. I could even go in and complete the compliance assessment for each of my clients if I wanted to go and do it that way as well. So again, I just hit the icon for whatever action that I wanted to complete inside of the system. So rather than doing that going into there, so I think you see how this works. You have all of your clients here, and you could easily manage your clients. A lot of our broker partners will have someone that's over compliance in their office or one of their account managers that may do that and help to make sure all of these things are done. But having this kind of a tool allows you to manage them all inside of one system and to have your clients help to be responsible and manage it on their own as well. The one thing I wanted to show you, so before I come back to the free assessment tool, let's finish out our discussion on this. So if you had clients that you wanted to set up on this Compliance Basics Plus service, you have some special rates that's available to you. So when you have less than 20 clients that are set up on the service, you get everything for $16 a month per company. So that's per company, not per employee, $16 a month per company. And that gives you everything that we've just talked about here, including a POP document. So if you didn't need a POP document, that would reduce your cost by about $2 a month per employer. Because you're with Black Gold and Associates, we start you at the silver level. So no matter how many clients you want to add, maybe you just have 4 or 5, you could bring in and add them at that level of pricing, the $14 a month per company. You have a decision to make. You may want to provide this for your clients. Maybe there's certain size of organizations that you want to cover. And maybe it's 10 and above, for example, and you just cover the cost for them. Maybe those under 10 size groups, again, this is all up to you. You may want to charge them something. A number of our brokers will charge their employers $300 or $400 a year, and they'll just charge them an annual fee and then just pay us the monthly fee, and then they keep the difference. So again, that's totally up to you. If you want to do that. If someone doesn't, you don't have to do the full everything, the Compliance Basics Plus wrap and POP. You could just do without the POP, or you could do just the Compliance Basics without the wrap document and the POP. So there's lots of options in here. Or if you just need a POP document. So you get these special rates. We start you at the silver level for anything that you're doing with us because you're with Black Gold and Associates. Just so you know what you do to get started with us, if you wanted to do something. Certainly you could contact one of us here at HR Service, and that would get the ball rolling. But you would also, and I'll show you how to do this, but you would register as a partner at www.hrserviceinc.com, and then you would set up a username and password. You would identify the clients that you wanted on the service, decide how you're going to do the pricing, and then provide us with some basic information on the client to get them set up. And then we'll provide you tools and materials to help you communicate and roll out the service. Let's come back to one of the things I mentioned at the beginning is that we're going to provide you with a free compliance assessment tool to help you win new business. So I'd like to go into that now. When you go in and register as a partner with HR Service, so if I were to, I'm going to sign out of here for just a moment. And if I were to, so if I log out of that system and I go to hrserviceinc.com, so when I go to hrserviceinc.com, in the upper right-hand corner where it says Become Affiliate Partner, that's where you'd register as a partner. So if you went to hrserviceinc.com, Become Affiliate Partner, click that icon, and then inside of here, then it asks you then some basic questions. You'll set up your username and password, a few basic details about your business. You'd upload your business logo, and you'd have everything that you need. There's no cost to set up. It takes about 5 minutes to register as a partner. Once you're registered as a partner, inside of your system, and this is where I'm going to log in, this is where you have that free compliance assessment tool. So if let's say that I'm you and I want to work with XYZ company down the street, and I've been trying to get my foot in the door with them for a long time. So if this is and this is the case, I could call them up or drop them an email and say, listen, I know you're working with this other broker, and if you're happy with them, you should stay there. But I'd like to come over and do a free compliance assessment for you. With that, I'll give you a risk assessment score. I'll tell you exactly where you're falling short or any risks that you have that you need to eliminate to be fully compliant with your benefit compliance. And then you set up that meeting. And then here now I've logged in, and under Partner Tools, Compliance Assessment Prospecting. This is a tool that we've set up for you to where you could go in and do this for your prospects. So again, there's no cost. You don't have to have anyone assigned to the service to perform this, to do this. Now you'll see when you first log in, everything's kind of blank except the company information. And that's because the answers to these questions drive and determine which questions appear. So if I quickly fill out a few questions here, number of participants, I'll say I've got 100, number on the plan, 100. Do I have a medical plan? Yes. I won't read these all out loud for you for sake of our time here because I want to keep this to our time frame commitment. Let's just say I'm an S corporation. Now that I've answered these questions, now all of the compliance questions that we talked about before appear. At that point, now if I click Go to Report, then it will generate the report, and it will also give me an option that I could download a free compliance assessment report. And that's what I've brought up here for you. The report would include your logo. It would include your phone number. It would say it was provided by you, not HR Service. I'm doing this as a test one here for you. And it would have their company name right here. It would give them their risk assessment score. And it would say, below your risk assessment score and needed actions to comply. So when I see that actions to comply, this tells them exactly the things that they're falling short, the actions they have and need in order to be compliant. It's professionally done. It looks nice, and it has your phone number to call. Contact us with questions for help with any of these actions, and that would be your phone number. So again, that's to me, if I were an employer, would love somebody to find something I'm doing wrong and to bring it to my attention. It might also have me questioning if I'm with the right insurance broker because they didn't identify these things for me. They didn't take care of it. And then they may be saying, well, can you help me with this? And you say, yeah, not a problem. I can help you with these things. We can take care of this for you. We just need you to sign this agent of record letter so I can be the person in charge and help make sure these things are done right. So again, that gives you a tool, an easy way for you to send over information. And there's no cost to you. Now, when I log out of this When I come out of this system now, once I fill this out, again, this is a free tool that you would be using as a partner. When you go out, all this information will disappear, and there's nothing you'll be able to track. So you'll want to generate them a report. You can save it as a PDF, email it to them, or you can print it off and hand it to them. But from there, nothing is saved. So that's the difference. If you had someone on the Compliance Basics Plus service, they would actually have that full, they would have the ability to track it ongoing as a dashboard and see where they are. They could go in and redo assessments every year and make sure they're keeping current and compliant. This here is a free tool to help you to win new business. Okay. There's a question that came over that says, will there be a replay of this webinar? I have recorded this webinar today, and I will be sending this out to each of you and anyone else who participated earlier today. I did want to end by giving you my contact information. So if you, actually, before I end, there's one other thing I should mention. We do also provide ACA reporting. So a lot of you are facing that right now. I mean, your employers have this due January 31st if they're an applicable large employer. So if they have 50 or more employees, if they've averaged 50 or more during the past year, then they're an applicable large employer. And they would have to do the 1095C or 1094C documents or B documents. The B documents would be applicable if they were if they had a self-funded plan and they had less than 50 employees. So if they're looking for someone, we do all the work for them. A lot of these employers just don't want to mess with this. So if it's not handled by their payroll company or it's not been pleased with the results they've been getting, they can do something with us. The pricing starts around $350 if it's for 25 or fewer, $1,600 for 50 or more. Depending on the size of the groups and such, that more costs apply. There's also could be some additional pricing for if they have multiple EINs and such. But this is our toll-free phone number, 855-447-3375. If you dial extension 1, we can get you copies of any of the slides. We can help you get set up on any of the services we've talked about. So if you need anything there. I will show you one other slide here that shows you some of the rates for this, a little more detail here. So if someone needs the C forms based on the number of employees, that's what drives the base fee, and that gives them for one EIN. There may be a possibility of some additional fees, again, depending on the complications of the reporting, if they have, wage, age banding and such. So then there could be some, additional costs for the complications of the report. But all we need to get someone set up on this is a simple agreement, and then we are asking for half down. We're filling up very quickly, so if you have anyone who needs this, you want to get hold of us soon so you can include that in the information. Lastly, if you have anyone who has any HR needs a help desk, an HR department, we have an HR solutions division here as well, where we can act as their human resource manager or help on an as-needed help desk basis. We do employee handbooks, supervisor training, compliance assessments, anything that a professional human resource department might do. We don't do benefits and we don't do payroll. So again, it's just professional HR. Thank you so much for your time today. I will give you, lastly, my personal contact information. And I'm sorry I should have had this out here already, but I mentioned I'm Ken Spencer. My phone number is 801-685-8400, and I am extension 6. I'm happy to chat with you or answer your questions that you have or get you connected with a compliance assessment or a compliance coach here at HR Service that can help you. My personal email is ken@hrserviceinc.com. But I've really enjoyed talking with you here today, and look forward to being a resource for you and your clients to help you win and attract new business and to keep them compliant so they're not getting fines and such from here. But again, thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to working with you.